Man, that sucked. Today just sucked, didn't it? I mean, really just sucked. Everything sucked. But you guys don't suck. We appreciate you being here. We know it's a late show, and, after that game, I mean, just brutal. I was joking off air to Gary about how Austin Slater should probably be in this bullpen, since he's the only one that seems to be able to get through an inning without giving up a run.
What was the final score?
11-1. It was 12-2 yesterday, by the way. So don't adjust your TV sets or anything. It is literally like deja vu. Like, I mean, the Tigers and Yankees both knotted up, and then the Yankees in the 7th inning struggled yesterday, and today is the 5th inning. It was literally 0-0. It sucks. Rodon gives you a good outing, gets through 6, and gives you a like I said, a good outing. Mark Leiter Jr., Camilo Doval. I mean, these guys are becoming an issue. I would say Mark Leiter Jr. has been an issue. I'm out on him entirely at this point, so I'm ready to move on.
First out the bullpen, Jake?
Yeah, I don't know how you justify bringing in Mark Leiter Jr. after the way he pitched yesterday. I don't really know what Aaron Boone was doing. Kudos to him, I guess, finally taking Anthony Volpe out of the lineup. He called it a day-to-day situation, which is really interesting. But yeah, a lot happened today. And Gary, I actually want to bring up the elephant in the room here. Obviously, we're not like a political show and everything, right?
Yeah.
But I wanted to give the Yankees a lot of props for the moment of silence for Charlie Kirk, because what happened is absolutely insane. And I just can't believe I even saw that, because it was all over Twitter. My prayers go out to, obviously, his family and everybody that's close to him. And just, man, I'm kind of getting emotional talking about it. But, I respected his grind and everything. We're grinding every night. Going out on the road is something different. That's something we don't do. So just awful, just truly awful. It sucks, and it's a terrible world, and I don't really have much to say. It's awful, and I felt like we had to bring it up because the Yankees brought it up. So good on them.
I didn't expect them to do that, by the way.
I just thought that was big of them to do that.
Yeah, it definitely was. And you know what? At some point or another, I think in general, there's always sides to two things, like everything, really. There's just sides. And people really think that they have to be on each other's side to wish people good health. And that's just nonsense to me. It is. And so very unfortunate what happened. So again, thoughts and prayers to his family. I know he had 2 kids. He had a wife. Horrible. So, but anyways, we'll get back to baseball. It was a bummer looking at Carlos Rodon, seeing that he had a great outing. This offense, Jake, it actually, before the season started, I mentioned to you that this was a group I was worried about. And I wasn't worried about them scoring runs. I guess your dad helped me conceptualize really what I was trying to get at, which was that it doesn't feel like the Yankees score important runs. And that's an idea that your dad really brought to the surface. And man, I couldn't agree more. When you look at this Yankees offense, let's go back to September 3rd, Friday, right? And the Yankees are playing the Toronto Blue Jays. The Jays beat us 7-1, Jake. And obviously, teams score 1 run all the time. It's baseball. The Yankees had 4 hits. It's not good. You move on to Saturday's big win, and we were thrilled about that game because we saw Luis Gil. He was big time. That was the big development, is just the development of Luis Gil and what he'd done. Maybe is he taking that potential Game 3 start, but what we never talked about, and we briefly talked about it, but nobody cared because we had just won a big game, was that the Yankees had 5 hits. That's unacceptable. It's not good. But you don't care because you did enough to win. Then you go to Sunday's finale. Jake, we called it at the time the most important game of the year. It was the finale, and you're saying 3 hits in a win. 3. We scored 4 runs, 3 hits.
And we gave them a pass because they won. Remember that?
We didn't care at all because they won the game. And then you know what got even better? They had the day off the next day. day off. And then they start this series, Jake, and we predicted that they would lose. Said, oh, they're going to probably lose this game. It's going to be a tight game, 4-2, 3-2. And we gave Casey Mize actually his props, and we said the Yankees are probably going to struggle to score in this game, but it's going to be a tight game. And sure enough, it was. Guy left us a voicemail and made the prediction. He says it's going to be 2-2. Ended up saying the game would be 4-2. This score ends up being 12-2. A 12-2 loss. The game gets away from Cruz, right? And then you peel it back and say, how'd that offense end up at 2 runs? Jake, they had 4 hits. And then you go to tonight, and you're like, oh, it just must be much better. 8 hits, 1 run. They just don't cash in at all, and I want to make sure I get this exactly correct. The New York Yankees were 1 for 7 with runners in scoring position. They essentially went an entire week as a no-show offensively. They did nothing. And this matters. All these series matter. I get it's baseball. There's ups and downs. There's peaks and valleys. But there needs to be some expectations, some type of baseline offensively. And when you look up at the ops of all this lineup and you see 850, 830, 825, and you see Jazz Chisholm today, and they were talking about the 30-30 season, I couldn't give a rat's ass about a 30-30 season.
Absolutely not. I don't care.
The broadcast said it looks like he's got a little bit of hook in his swing, like he's trying to get to the 30-30. Of course he is. Yep. Because as soon as he gets to that point, good season for me. No, it is not. No, it is not. I think we're getting to the point now in baseball where the stolen bases are getting a little out of control with the pickoffs that they're not allowed to do. So you have players out here thinking that they're Jackie Robinson because they're having 30-30 seasons. You're hitting 230. I want to make sure I don't cut him short here. He is hitting 237. That's not a good baseball season. I don't care what anybody tells me about ops, weighted runs created, defense. As an offensive season, there is no player, none, that hit in the 230s that are having a good year. So I want to make sure that that's clear. And yet we look up and say, oh, they score a lot of runs. Jake, I feel like the takeaway here is our offense, bullpen aside, and we'll get to that, our offense really struggles in big games. I don't know how you feel about this offense when we face good pitching. Do you see what I'm seeing?
I mean, Ed W. brought this up our last Super last night, and it just kept playing back in my head over and over and over again. The sound of Ed's voice. No, I'm kidding. But the idea that this team doesn't cut into starts enough. They just don't cut these starts short. I mean, Jack Flaherty is able to go, 5 innings in this one, but he goes 5 innings because, basically they took it. He could have kept going. I mean, who cares about pitch count? He was dominant. You give 2 hits, right? Their approach sucks. It just does. Jazz Chisholm, like you said, looks like he's trying to loop his swing and, hook his swing or whatever and trying to get to... It feels that way. It feels like he knows he's close to 30 home runs, and that's the type of thing that he would care about. I like Jazz. I don't have to tell you how much I like Jazz, but I am so sick of him getting up there in key spots and just whiffing. And I'm not just saying whiffing is like a way to describe. It is a total whiff. It goes in the stat sheet as a whiff. Not even coming close to making contact with the baseball. And, that's an issue for me. I love that Caballero played over Volpe, mainly because Volpe is unplayable at this point in his career. He is horrendous. He's the worst. He is the worst starter in the MLB. I almost said the NFL. That's how he did.
He'd probably be the worst starter there as well.
Yeah, you're not kidding. Ryan McMahon defensively looked great today. I mean, that was insane. That freaking
really
play
bad
that
hop on that throw. Hey, there was a ball to his forehand that I don't know what happened on that ball, but I didn't think it wasn't pickable at all for Ben Rice. It just wasn't.
I agree, but Gary, the thing for me is that it just feels like the Yankees, it's like an infection in the lineup. It's like if they don't have it, like you're hoping about 1 or 2 guys, whatever, right? 1 or 2 guys can figure it out. I think Stanton is finally starting to feel okay. He didn't play for a while. Then he's playing. I think you messed him up. I do. He's also a very streaky hitter. We know that about Stanton. So right now, he doesn't look very good. Like I mentioned with Jazz Chisholm, Austin Wells is, I appreciate him. We believe in him next year. But he hit the most useless home run of all time. Jose Caballero, I want to see more. He had a hit today. Great. Want to see more. McMahon, I want to see more, truthfully. I'm looking at this team right now, and I just feel like it's no different. They're just living and dying by the home run. You see with Ben Rice, it just felt like today, and it's not even just the home run. I will say there was some bad luck today. It felt like they just kept hitting it right at guys. And, you got to find a way to get past that. You do. And
everyone else has to deal with it, right? Everybody else deals with the same rules that you do. They can hit hard contact directly at fielders. And did you mention Aaron Judge, by the way, yet? Did you get a chance?
I was getting to that. Gary, I'll say this. Aaron Judge's batting average is now below 320, okay? Yeah. So he's been falling for a while. They had 8 hits today. The issue wasn't hitting the baseball, okay? They hit the bullpen. The issue I had with the New York Yankees is, like you said, with runners in scoring position. Who cares? You know how many hits you'd get if you didn't get any RBIs and you had a single every inning? You'd have 9 hits. You'd have 9. You could actually have 9 hits and have 0 runs by just getting a hit. So that's consistent, right? You have a hit every single inning. That sounds consistent.
You're consistently low leverage.
Exactly. That's what the Yankees did today. It just didn't get anything going. When guys got on base, it was the same shit, different toilet, and I'm honestly kind of tired of it. Jazz, when you see 2 guys on, 1 guy on second, 1 guy on first, stop trying to take liftoff. All we need in that case is just to put it in play. Give them a chance and get the bases loaded. You know why? Because if you get the bases loaded there, now you have Austin Wells who's coming up, and he's had a ton of home runs. So now he can swing for the fences. And why is that, Gary? That's something that was actually brought up by Ed. If he swings for the fences, he likely is going to fly out at the warning track. Guess what? That's a run right there. Bases loaded. Right. You knock in. Jazz knocks the bases loaded. Austin Wells comes up to the plate. He just misses a home run, or he hits a grand slam. That'd be nice. But let's just say he just misses a home run. That is going to be a run, right? And they just didn't have that today. They just didn't have the capacity to do that. There was 1 hit with runners in scoring position, and that was Jason Dominguez, and the game was already well out of range. So,
do you have the stats in front of you by chance to say what the Yankees rank in terms of batting average?
I think they're like 15th, but let me just check. I'm going to look it up right now.
Reason I ask
is because question.
At some point or another, I think
14th.
You're 14th in the league. If you really think about just how baseball works, if you walk, you're at first base. Everybody knows this. Everybody understands it. The Yankees, more times than not, will not get to second base unless the next hitter walks. Okay? So let's just say you have 2 walks in an inning, Jake.
Mm-hmm.
There's now a runner in scoring position with less than 2 outs. Well, who's most likely to get a hit with runners in scoring position? Players with a high batting average. That's how you score from second base. If the hitter scores a runner from scoring position and they're on second base, there was a hit. Is this groundbreaking news to anybody? It's not to me. I would assume it's not to anyone. And yet, the Yankees build a lineup of sluggers. Sluggers are good. Your problem is when you have redundancy of slugging. Now it's a problem because you don't table set a slugger with a slugger. Should we have gotten rid of Johnny Damon and Derek Jeter and brought in a shortstop maybe that could give us 25 homers instead?
No.
Derek Jeter, how many home runs did Derek Jeter hit? Do you remember?
The most he ever hit was 24 in a season.
24 home runs, and that was like a major outlier. He didn't normally do that.
Yeah, I think he had 102 RBIs. Very big outlier.
Very much an outlier. Would we have rather had more slugging from Jeter? I wouldn't have. Because you're a table setter by definition. You're a guy who's going to go hit 300, runner in scoring position. Can you tell me who's, honestly, one of the most clutch Yankees of all time in Derek Jeter? Because when guys are in scoring position, he can get a hit. It's that simple. And so when you look at the Yankees and you're like, okay, runner in scoring position, who do I really want up at the plate? I'll give you my answer. It's probably Cody Bellinger. That's not what I want to say, but it's true. Cody Bellinger is the one guy I want at the plate. And he was 1 for 3 today. It wasn't like anything crazy. 1 for 3 with a walk. But Jake, when that's my answer, it should tell you everything you need to know. Slugging is not the only answer to this sport. You can do it all types of ways. The Yankees choose to do it one way. And when you have 9 hitters who are directly attempting to slug, Cody Bellinger's really the one outlier. And I'd say Ben Rice. You have 2 players in the whole roster who feel like it wasn't a mission failure if they don't slug. Jazz Chisholm thinks he's having a successful season because he's going to go 30-30. It's a horrible season. I didn't like this year at all. I don't think it's good because when you're hitting 230 and you're strictly trying to hit home runs, that's all he's trying to do. He's not trying to do anything else. And people are happy when he hits them. Okay, so am I. But when he doesn't, well, how productive is it? Is there an impact? No, you don't feel any impact. So it's honestly disappointing. The Yankees' offense it's their offense and their bullpen has just killed this team. It's killed them.
Yeah,
and
it's been brutal.
Honestly, I feel like the offense is even more of a problem than the bullpen, just strictly because Aaron Boone wouldn't allow the bullpen to work out anyways, even if the group was better. He would just simply go to them more and overuse them. Isn't that what he's proven? If we had a better bullpen, if we had this year's Aroldis Chapman, who's got an ERA hovering around 1, what would we have done with him? We would have pitched the brakes off him. It's exactly what we would have done. By the time you get to October, he'd blow October, and we'd blame it on Aroldis Chapman. That's what we would do. And Michael McDonald, appreciate the 2. Thank you for the super. Says, Slater before lighter out the pen, please. I didn't understand. I actually want to dive in just real quick here.
Yeah.
About the real logic, because I know I briefly asked you why Aaron Boone made that decision. I'm always trying to figure out why Boone does what he does. And I don't like to just give the lazy answer of who knows because he's stupid and then move on because just try to preach to the choir. I try and get an understanding as to what the angle was. So at least I can detect the mistake before it happens the next day or the next day. Why do you think, honestly, Mark Leiter Jr. pitched the first out the bullpen today? Because by the time he came into that game, Jake, it was high leverage.
Yeah, why? He just had 16 pitches last game. Here's my thing. I have a theory on why some of the guys are struggling.
Okay.
I think Boone has mismanaged the bullpen, but maybe not in the way some people think. So I want to bring you to yesterday, okay? He pitched Fernando Cruz out of the bullpen, Leiter Jr., Tim Hill, Paul Blackburn. So Tim Hill and Leiter Jr. pitched today. They gave up 3 runs. Now, I often see this, and I see it the other way. Where was Devin Williams? He should have pitched tonight. He probably should have come in instead of Leiter. Truthfully. That's when you want Devin Williams to pitch. So
the 7th, correct.
My thing is, Devin Williams is going to now be thrown in. How many days rest has he had? He's going to be rusty. He's going to, you know what I mean? Like, he's not going to be, because they had a day off, remember?
When did he pitch? When was the last time he did pitch?
I think it was Sunday.
Yeah, I'm pulling it up now. In the 4-3 win with Toronto.
This is my issue with Boone.
That's correct. He pitched the 8th inning.
And
it was 1 inning, 1 hit, 1 walk. Because remember, he walked the leadoff guy. He got into scoring position, and he shut it down from that point. People were complaining while it was happening. But by the time it was over, we were like, well, let's give him credit because he got out of this. You never saw him again.
No. And that's my issue, Gary. That's my theory. I've had this for a minute. I don't think I've talked about it much on here. But I think Boone has actually hurt this bullpen. And this is not an excuse. This is just trying to find answers. Why do guys randomly just suck? Right? It's because you use Tim Hill, Mark Leiter Jr., back-to-back days. Mark Leiter Jr.'s already been bad. We were talking about this. Not going to be on the postseason roster. He's now thrown 28 pitches the last 2 games, given up runs. Tim Hill, you just used him, right?
I feel like I'm the only one who doesn't believe in Tim Hill.
Well,
Because I know
really
when you
Tim
look
Hill.
up,
Yeah.
when you look up, you see the 3.14 ERA, and you're like, oh well, I mean, run prevention is somewhat there, right? He gave up 2 runs and 2 outs, so like that's how it got there.
Didn't Luke Weaver just pitch? I don't know. Anyway, Luke Weaver's been kind of struggling lately too. So
yeah, he's been horrible.
Luke Weaver's been horrible. Tim Hill's been struggling. Camilo Duvall can't even find the strike zone if it, hit him in the head. Mark Leiter Jr. has been struggling. But what doesn't make it any easier is when you have a manager that overuses you, and then also, on the flip side of it, doesn't use you enough. Because there has to be a healthy balance. See, people think they see that nice little pretty graphic. We talked about it. I have it right here. Remember? I crumpled it up.
Oh, are you talking about our bullpen thing?
The bullpen budget? Yeah.
Yeah, the bullpen budget. And they love that graphic. It's what's funny about it. It's really a graphic that they just make it seem like if you took 8 days off, oh, you're just coming out there with your best stuff. Ideally, you really just want to give, you need context here. If you pitch your closer on Monday and you've got another big game Tuesday, you can pitch him Tuesday and you just have to know, okay, Wednesday's got to have off, right? And Thursday you might want to have him off. But really, the Yankees just they're just all over the place, right? One day they'll tell you, last year, they say, oh, well, we didn't want to use Clay Holmes in back-to-back days because we don't want to overwork him. Just can't have that. And then they'll bring a Bednar in here, pitch him 5 outs, and then the following day they're like, well, we're pitching Bednar again. Well, why?
Yeah,
because there's no
rhyme
other
or
option.
reason. That's the thing. It's so funny. It's the opposite of how micromanaged the lineup is. See, they'll tell you the plan, or they won't tell you, and you'll just find out the plan. But they always have a plan. You notice that? The bullpen, they never have a plan. I don't want a plan. We've talked about this, right? I want feel to be the reason that you go to the bullpen and decide on who you use. That said, you need some semblance of a plan, because if you don't, you end up overusing guys, or you end up underusing guys. And I understand that's kind of weird, and that might sound foreign to people, because this is the problem. As great as that graphic was, I love the bullpen budget graphic. But the reason why I crumble it up, I don't actually have it. That's just something else. But the reason why I crumple it up, so to speak, is because it's quite literally done the opposite. Instead of being useful, now people just look at the pretty colors and like, oh, it's not painted in. So you see all the week he hasn't pitched. That's not good. There's a thing called being fresh, and there's a thing called being rusty. And just like anything, you need balance. And the problem is, Boone will half the bullpen overpitch them, and then half the bullpen he'll forget about. And Devin Williams is one of those guys that I've seen it now multiple times. If you look at his worst outings, I guarantee you it comes off a stretch of 3 days in a row not pitching.
It's not going to help at all. And by the way, Aaron Boone in the postgame, and he mentioned something that I'm sure he probably just thought it was cookie cutter and nobody would look into it. But I wanted you guys to hear what he said postgame. Aaron Boone was asked, what gives him confidence that the Yankees bullpen can turn it around? And that would be a pretty good question, because you went to Mark Leiter Jr., first out of the bullpen, keep that in mind. He said track record, stuff, who they are, end quote. Now, let me ask you this, Jake. Who was Mark Leiter Jr. before he became a Yankee?
He was a specialist on the Cubs, and I would say he's never been a bigger name than when he wore pinstripes. Nobody knew who he was. I remember, Gary, you were like, who the hell's that? And then we looked it up and like, oh, he's got good reverse splits. Like, he's a strikeout machine. That's what he was.
He is quite literally, he strikes out lefties. He gets shelled by right-handed batters. Shelled. That's the reason why in Chicago he didn't have good numbers. That's why. And the Yankees said, we can fix that. So what track record are they talking about? Their first guy out the bullpen, because that was the question. How much, what gives you confidence about this group, this bullpen? Well, a key to your bullpen probably would be the first guy you brought out. He doesn't have a track record of success. He doesn't. He has success in a short sample size, which you saw in the Dodgers series and the World Series. Great. There's no track record. He doesn't. And that's where Doval, what's his track record? He's never had control. I know you just mentioned him earlier. You mentioned the fact that he couldn't hit the broadside of a barn, and you're right. What track record? To fix... No, we said, if Doval comes here with Matt Blake, maybe they can fix, right? Fix. It's a project. He's got stuff. We love the stuff. The 100-mile-an-hour cutters, awesome.
Yeah.
But is it going to the glove? Will you fix it? Not is it a project that you can work on? This isn't... You don't want to go to the side of the road and purchase some 71 Chevelle that has no motor. That's what we are. We essentially just drove down and drove past it and said, hold on a second. Let me kick it in reverse. Hey, man, is that thing for sale? They're like, there's no engine in it. They're like, we'll take it for pennies on the dollar. We throw it in our bullpen. And guess what? There's still no engine in the damn thing. The Yankees are trying to fix players rather than getting players. And you know who the one player was who actually did have a track record? Props to Aaron Boone for, I guess, unintentionally hitting the nail on the head, just not in the way he wanted to here, is that David Bednar is the only pitcher that they acquired who actually has a track record. He's the only arm the Yankees acquired in Brian Cashman. They bring him here, and what were Pirates fans and their coverage? Because I wanted to see what their local coverage was saying about the player. I wanted to know about the dude. And they said, that dude's a dog. I said, I love that. He has a track record of being a dog. Who's he been since he got here? A dog. The Yankees didn't have to fix him. And lo and behold, he's the guy we can rely on. He's the guy we're having to go 5 outs with. And the rest of these jamokes have no track record. Devin Williams has a track record of pitching in unimportant games in Milwaukee. And then in his final year, he finally gets in important games. He did. Pitched against the Mets and Pete Alonso, and we saw how that went. And then they're like, okay, well, we saw what he did on the big stage under the bright lights. Let's bring him to New York. We don't have track record, Jake. So the fact that he's saying this bullpen has a track record, that is just a bold-faced lie. And I get it. He's not going to show up here and say, what gives you confidence? Nothing. That wouldn't be his answer. But I'm just not sure where you take the answer to this question because it's not accurate. It's not.
Yeah, Aaron Boone hasn't been accurate. You go back to his, banter with John Boy, and I remember him bringing up actual analysis and data to back up his point on Anthony Volpe, and he was basically saying, we already know the numbers, we've seen the numbers, he's a good shortstop, yada yada. It's like, it's not based in reality. We're just kind of making stuff up as we go to fit our own narrative. And, this is what happens. This is what happens when, you have these games. I get it. They have the second fewest of these games, by the way, of losing 5 runs or more. The only one who's ahead of them, the Dodgers. They have fewer. That's good. That's consistency, right? At the same time, though, see, yesterday, and I think we'll be definitely agreeing on this one. Yesterday, you and I kind of chalked it up. It sucked. You throw it away. You move on. You have 2 in this. You got really good matchups. You should win this series, right? When you lose a series, because this is what just happened. They lost the series to the Tigers tonight. And you lose the way you did, being outscored 23-3.
Gleyber Torres with the backbreaker.
Yeah, now I have to literally, I have to be here and say, well, you know what? Last night wasn't just a fluke. Because they literally did it again. And it was the same problems. Offense couldn't hit. Bullpen couldn't pitch. Starters gave you length and looked good. And you wasted their starts. And that's actually my biggest annoyance here. You only have X amount of Carlos Rodon starts left in the regular season. You just wasted a prime start. Rodon has been excellent this year. Aren't we
throwing
excellent.
Cam Schlittler out there to flex seal this? Aren't we throwing a rookie out there to stop the bleeding?
Well, we shall see if he's going to flex seal it. The last outing wasn't too great. I think he'll be good.
I'm talking about the attempt. I like Cam Schlittler as much as the next
Tyler Holton is on the hill tomorrow. and he's actually pitched 18 and 2/3 Schlittler, 5-4 with a 3.80 ERA and a 1.12 WHIP. 61 hits and 68 and 2/3, 55 strikeouts, 16 walks. This one's crazy. 14 home runs. So I think we know the script
that's also
tomorrow.
what we were saying. We also said that, what was it, 4 or 5 days ago, that I couldn't remember the arm.
Well, we just said it about Jack Leiter too. Or Jack Flaherty. Good Lord.
Close enough. Jack Flaherty came into this game, and
Stupid
the
Mark
Yankees
Leiter.
broadcast, they know better than we do. I mean, they're at the damn stadium. They see it,
Yeah.
bird's eye view, what this offense does. And I tweeted it. They made Flaherty look like 0-1 Kurt Schilling. And
That
mind
was
you,
the
they
best
brought up
I've
the
ever
numbers.
seen him look. And he has not had a good year this year. He's been very disappointing for the Tigers this year.
But who's to say we're not disappointing? Because this is the thing. Yes, you can pitch. Flaherty in this moment, I don't care what he does. He should have been hit today. He just should have been. There were mistakes, and you saw foul balls. We're just fouling the ball off. They weren't prepared to hit. They weren't. And they're sitting there saying, oh, he's working the corners. Yeah, so was Rodon. They were saying, oh, they're giving him inches off the plate. Okay.
They're
Everyone's
battling.
dealing with it.
No. They do that all the time. No, I'm not saying the Yes Network, but people say that. Oh,
Yes.
Right. Anytime it's a foul ball, oh, he's battling here. No, he's just behind.
No, we're not looking to just foul balls off until you get a meatball to hit a home run.
Yeah.
That's not hitting. It's not.
You know what a foul ball
It's certainly
is?
an outcome. What, a failed attempt at a home run?
Well, no. With 2 strikes and you foul it off, and you're like, oh, he's battling. You know what that is? You're on the cliff holding on with your hand. You're about to fall off a cliff.
We are. Other teams aren't. Like, you saw those at-bats in the Toronto series where you're like, oh, Kirk is annoying. But he also isn't waiting for a meatball. He's not waiting for a meatball to drive it. Whereas it looks like we're spoiling pitches that are well located, and then we're waiting for the meatball right down the middle so that we can go into the upper deck. That's not baseball. It's fun. When you hit the home run, it's certainly fun, and we'll talk about it. But is it consistent? No. Apex says, with the 2, I feel like I should go back to church after today. I think we all should. They should just sprinkle Peter Popoff's holy water over the top of this entire baseball team. HS, with the 2, really appreciate that. Thank you. Says 3 runs this series, 3 solo home runs. This comes as a surprise to absolutely nobody. Not Michael Kay, not Jake Ellenbogen, not Gary Sheffield Jr., no one who covers this team.
Not William
watches
Wallace.
this and says, not William Wallace. No one in our comment section is saying, gee, really? The Yankees weren't able to have the at-bat that they just watched a player who they said, no, we don't need him. In Gleyber Torres, we don't need him. 1-year deal. We won't do that. And he essentially went out there and drove in 2, which was the backbreaker, which put Detroit ahead by multiple runs in a game where runs weren't being scored and the zone was wide. It was a huge play in the game. The Yankees couldn't do that. That one play couldn't do it.
That umpire was not fun.
No, the umpire wasn't. No, he wasn't. But when a team on the other side gets 16 hits and they double you up, they win 11-1. They're okay. They find ways to manage around it. We're just waiting for meatballs. And when the zone's big, you're just less likely to receive a meatball. That's just kind of how stats work. And Michael Vincent with the 5. He's a Red Sox fan here. Says, love the content, guys. I don't know anyone that breaks it down better like you guys. And this is coming from a Red Sox fan. Keep it up, Michael. We really appreciate that.
Thank you, Michael.
Yeah, eventually down the road, we're trying to have an unloaded for all 30 baseball teams. I think that would be the goal. But, I mean, at the same time.
The prophecy is true with Padres unloaded?
Yeah, Padres unloaded. Well, technically speaking, we're going to start it with the main teams. We're not starting with Pittsburgh. With all due respect, Marion, Marlins won't be a part of the opening package, but down the road, we'll twinkle down to the Pirates and Marlins and the teams who do have fans, just not as many. So, Michael, we really appreciate that. And I was looking forward to this Red Sox series quite a bit. But, Jake, it feels like the momentum has really come to a screeching halt here. I know that's what you text me earlier. What do you think about the momentum? Because I know you mentioned that the Jays lost. I believe Boston lost. Is this just does it feel like another shot at it? I know technically we're 3 games back. Is that correct? But we still have to pass Toronto. We can't just catch the 3 games because of that tiebreaker. Where are you, like, how do you feel about this comeback right now? Because I know you predicted a comeback.
I do think the comeback is still in play. I don't think the momentum is still there. Like, it's like, this is how I describe it. You ever play NFL Street?
I did. Love that
Remember,
game.
we got to the bar. I forget what it did. Game breaker, whatever. We'd be like, I'm coming. Here I come. You know, like, they go crazy. Yeah. Like, after you finish the bar, then you kind of have to build it back up. The Yankees already used their game breaker bar. Like, in my opinion, they need to build that back up. I think this is very reminiscent to how they started. They won that last game against Boston after looking terrible, blown out.
This game 3 definitely feels like that. I guess the only difference
game
is that
3
after this game's over, what would be 19 games left in the season? It's great.
Exactly. But game 3 to me is a get right game. You leave New York with a win, right? And that's how you start rebuilding your run, right? Because you need a reset here. You've lost 2 straight, brutal fashion. But if you want to take any good away from this, you were in the game for 12 innings, right? 12 total innings between the two, right? You'd 7th inning and the 5th inning, implosion and everything, but you were right there. So this 3rd game, you have Schlittler on the mound. Give him some damn run support, right? Just do it. And then after that, if you win this game, you can carry that win onto Boston. But the Boston series, no ifs, ands, or buts.
This does change the Boston series, because I believe your coverage of it was that the Yankees, you said it was a 3-game series, if I'm not mistaken, correct?
I'll tell you exactly what I had yes, it is a 3-game series. I'll tell you exactly what I had the Yankees doing.
I think you had them winning 1 game, correct?
I think I did. So I had the Yankees going in their murders row. Let's see. 2-1, 3-4. So they're 4-4, by the way.
Would I say 8-6? Was that my guess?
That sounds about right. So 4-4, 5-4, 6-4, 7-4, 8-4. No, so there were 12 games. So I had them going 9-3. Okay, they're currently 4-4. They got off to a good start. They won the Houston series. They won the Toronto series. But this Detroit series has been an absolute disaster. Disaster. It
changes the Boston series. When you go into Boston, you now have to go into Boston. And with all due respect, I would say a bare minimum. If you lose the Boston series, division's done. And you could easily, I mean, you can argue it, that the division could very well be cooked already as it is.
I don't think
there's not a lot of baseball. No, it's not literally.
Toronto has a tough schedule ahead. That is no doubt why I'm so confident in that.
Yes, it's just that we still have the Boston series, which I'm here to tell you right now. I know Boston is ailing without Roman Anthony. They have no momentum whatsoever.
But
they
it's
can
the same
feel
3
that.
pitchers that dominated you.
Thank you. Same 3 arms dominated you. The Yankees haven't shown that the arms, guys like Crochet, that they can get up for those games. They just haven't yet. I shouldn't even say that word. It is just being ridiculous of me. Jake, they are beating up on bad teams, bad pitching, and we gave them credit for the Houston series. We were really happy about that. They got back on their feet against Toronto. We were even happier about that. And then you go into this, and it's just letting go of the rope. It almost feels like, for what? I honestly didn't ever predict that they were going to get outscored. I mean, goodness gracious, what was it, 23-2? And 23-3 in this series so far? It absolutely disgusting.
Yeah, 23-3. Not
23-3. It's just not competitive.
They won their 80th game, and then they're like, oh, we're good. The season's over. Like,
we just wanted to get close enough so you guys could realize that we're not dead yet. No, you're not technically dead. You still have a pulse. It's physically possible. But are you showing the qualities that we can actually make a genuine prediction you're going to do this? I can tell you right now,
must win.
Boston.
Like if they don't win tomorrow, you would just give up on the division, regardless of Boston. Do you feel like it's that big of a deal?
No. I can genuinely tell you if they lose tomorrow, I would feel the same way I did after today's loss, which is that from a technical standpoint, which is the way that you try, like you maybe don't want to, but you try to look at things from a technical perspective. Toronto has a tough schedule. We really have already gone through the most of ours, right? After the Boston series, it lets up immensely. Yeah. Now, having said all that, you can still make the claim after losing tomorrow, getting swept in this Detroit series, which, I mean, we would think was blasphemous to say that this would happen. And then if it does, you can still make the technical argument Toronto could give up a lot of games. In their stretch, we've got an easy schedule, so you could justify us beating up on bad teams again, just like a lot of people think we do anyway, and then you end up back in the race, 1 or 2 games off of it in the last 4 or 5 games of the year. So, no, I don't think tomorrow will be considered a must-win. I felt the same today. I felt like today was already a game you really have to win. And I guess you're technically alive, but, man, I feel very different about this team after this Detroit series. This sucks. This is horrible.
Yeah, no, this is, and like we said, we were willing, all right, give you a break there. You lost 12-2, just terrible game, got away from you. To see it happen back-to-back nights, unacceptable. And by the way, that typically happens when you're outmanaged. I'm just going to put it out there right now. When your team is down 12-2 in a game that was 2-2, in a game that was 2-0, when your team goes from 0-0 down to 11-1, to me, that's on Aaron Boone. These guys are not motivated enough for this type of series. I don't know what happened on that bye day or whatever, bye week, whatever. Like, you know, the off day. Good Lord. I mean, they don't look ready, right? So you gotta step up. You gotta win tomorrow. If you don't win tomorrow, then you gotta hope, you know, that Toronto and Boston lose. Because I think really, I understand Boston, you kind of control your own destiny there with Boston. If you win the next 3, you're in really good shape with them and you know, taking over that spot over them. But I still think you don't want Boston winning when you lose games. I just, you know, I'd like some separation there. As far
You're
as
also
Toronto,
not putting
though,
any pressure, and you're not putting pressure on Toronto or Boston when they look up and say, "Yeah, we lost," and the Yankees. I thought they were surging. Oh, never mind. They lost both those games
exactly
at home to Detroit. Interesting. It does
Toronto
help
barely
you, helps you
lost that
relax.
game.
They did, but it helps you relax. The Yankees are putting pressure on us, but not that much pressure. Guys, they're going to give away games. So are you. You're a good, not great team. Toronto's not a great team. They're just probably better than us. So it's not what you want. You want to, it kind of like watching Tiger Woods, right? Tiger Woods on a Sunday.
All right, Joe Girardi. It's not what you want.
It's not what you want. And it's like watching Tiger Woods on a Sunday. Tiger is going to be relentless, and you may look up at the scoreboard and say, oh, he's in third. Oh, he's in second. And if you're in first place, you know he's not giving away holes. He's going to continue marching forward, and if you don't march forward, you're going to be behind him. And that's the way it works, and that's the whole pressure of dealing with him. The Yankees right now are not they're not putting on their best Tiger Woods impression. It sucks. And Apex, and speak of the devil, Apex with the super with the 2 says, I give up on Judge. He chokes at the big moments. Jake, just to be literal, he grounded into 2 enormous double plays today.
Enormous.
Rally killers. They absolutely killed us. Is it the difference in the game? We have no idea, because the score of the game would be different if he was coming through in those moments. And I'm here to tell you right now, Aaron Judge is paid a lot of money to do mostly what he's doing. He's obviously a great player. He's going to win AL MVP. But having said all this, Jake, you got to be better in big games. I think this goes without saying, but evidently, a lot of people will say, well, the Yankees lost 11-1. Aaron Judge had nothing to do with that. He certainly didn't help us at all today. Didn't do anything.
And the problem with Judge is when you hit a rocket 118 off the bat, and it's just it's easier to double you up. Then you're not even that fast to begin with, and then it's really easy to double you up. So he moves well for his size, but that's not fast. You're not, like, to me, I watch Cody Bellinger. I don't think he'll ever get doubled up. If he has that, he must have hit that thing really hard because he's fast, man. He could beat out a single, like just a regular single.
But also situational hitting. If there's men in scoring position or there's a man on first base, I don't give a shit. You hit the ball 120 miles an hour. The ball's on the ground. Get the ball off the ground. If you're not the most
that's the issue.
Right.
I do give a shit because if you're hitting it 120 on the ground, you're actually making it more likely for them to turn a double.
No, I hear what you're saying. All I'm telling you is that you should not be hitting ground balls at all. You're paid to quite literally avoid that. That's the whole deal. That's it. We wouldn't go up and say, oh, man, well, David Ortiz in the clutch in 2004, if we just had this guy standing over here and that ball was caught, it's like, no. Clutch players just put the ball where they ain't. That's the job. If there's men in scoring position or if there's men on first and second with one out, what do you not want to do in the 8th or 9th inning? Well, I sure as shit don't want to hit a ground ball. If I hit a ground ball, the inning's ruined. And he did that twice today. So I don't want to make any excuses. Aaron Judge has been downright horrific in the clutch in his career. So I'm not going to sugarcoat anything because he's played a lot of baseball for the Yankees in the clutch. We've been in clutch situations for years. He's been here in clutch spots since 2017? So you really have to say, how is it possible that you won't have any Class A moments? You will. But he needs to put it together. He needs to be someone we can rely on in the clutch, and that's not the case right now. It's not. This isn't personal. I don't have any personal vendettas against Aaron Judge. I want this to work. He makes everyone who covers the Yankees more money by playing better baseball. So it's not in my best interest to say this, but Jake, when you come into these games, you've already lost game 1. You're going into game 2. You cannot come in here and go 0 in a game 2 at home and roll into 2 double plays. It's absolutely unacceptable.
No, it is. And, obviously, this has been a topic of discussion for a while. Is this the year Aaron Judge turns it on? Well, I don't know what's going on with Judge, but it feels like, oh, yeah, he hits a home run and he's about to turn it on. But, we're now into the second week of September, right? And it's gotten to the point where it's like, I don't know, man. September, he's hitting 261, 825 OPS. Like, that's good. And obviously the on-base percentage is insane because he walks so much. So, at a 433.
Yeah.
But the slugging is at 391, in the month of September. And he hit 241 in August. He hit 288 in July. I mean, really, he's been on the downtrend since June. Actually, May. Because June he hit 253. So the thing is, in April he hit 415, and in May he hit 364. But he's been on the downtrend for since. And now, obviously, hitting 253 but having a 9-something OPS, that's fine, right? Hitting 288 and having over 1,000 OPS, that's totally fine in July. But like 241, like you start to see that like he hasn't been Judge. And I don't know if he's going to be Judge the rest of the year. What did this injury do to him? Who knows? I don't know. It's not the same player. He can home run every now and then, but the thing about Judge that makes him so dominant is that he's consistent. When he's on, he's consistent. Like, no matter what, like that guy was getting walked left and right because of how consistently dominant he is.
Who, Judge?
Yes.
Yes, but that's the thing is, you can be consistent for 6 months of the year. When you get into September, you need to be at your best.
No, I agree.
You have to be. Derek
100%.
Jeter, at his best. David Ortiz, Boston, at his best. Manny Ramirez, Johnny Damons. Do you think they're hitting 230 in September? And they're like, oh, well, his ops is still 900, so there's still some production there. No. They wouldn't just say, and I see it in the comment section from Momo. He's saying, well, they'd be irrelevant without Aaron Judge. Right, but when you get to the big dance, you need to be able to dance. Dance. Get going. And we are now, that's the whole point of playing for the Yankees, by the way, is it doesn't really feel like that big of an event for 3 months, 3.5 months. And then all of a sudden, you start to see how the season's shaping up, and you're like, man, when are these games going to start to feel important. And Jake, you and I talked about this in the offseason. We love this part of the season. When all of a sudden you start seeing people's breath, you start seeing the smoke come out, and you're like, oh man, I'm getting that feeling in pinstripes. These games feel important. That's when you need to perform. Aaron Judge doesn't perform at that time. So Momo, and anybody else, mind you, you're not the only one who thinks this, because you're right. Without Aaron Judge, the Yankees can't be to this position. There's no way to remix that. But there's a problem when you get to the big dance. You can't say, well, I brought us here, now you guys need to pull the rope now. No, you need to be also helping us. You're still a member of this team. You're still the best player on the roster. And I'm certainly going to tell you, in 2009, when Alex Rodriguez quite literally put this team on his back to get them to the World Series, to get them there, he still had to do the damn thing in the World Series. Clutch homers in Philadelphia. He had to show up. Aaron Judge has to do the exact same thing, and we need him right now. Absolutely right this second.
No, I 100% agree with you. I think really it's come down to that, where it's like, all right. Because what I would say, and obviously I know they lost these in blowout fashion, but if you get like a Judge big hit, it changes the complexion of a game. And you could say what you will, momentum is real. Obviously, we've been talking about it. This team is trying to win games with the living and dying by the long ball, and Judge is on and off, consistently on and off. Like he's not consistently on. It's making it tough. Now, you couple that with the fact Stanton is starting to slump a little bit. And then you already have, when Volpe's in the lineup, you have the two worst hitters worst 8-9 hitters in the league.
He'll be right in the lineup tomorrow. So don't you guys worry. Anthony Volpe, they use this as a day. Caballero didn't do anything. I know he fielded his position. He's 1 for 3. That's certainly better than Volpe would have done. But guys, I don't care what the roster. Do I think the Yankees roster needs to be much better around Aaron Judge? Yes. No way to remix it. They need more contact. More contact hitters, higher batting average, more reliability. However, Aaron Judge is part of the unreliability in the clutch. So I can't just look at a player who plays poorly in the biggest games of the year. This isn't my opinion. So I don't want anyone to think that it is. It's just me telling you what the numbers are. They're not good. So if he was playing good baseball right now, but we were losing 11-1, then we would absolutely just lay off of him. Why would we? Well, what's the point of going that direction? And Jersey Girl with the 5, appreciate the super, says if anybody thinks, and Jake, I want to know what you think about this. If anybody thinks the Yankees will make the World Series, let me disabuse you of that notion right now. They won't. Embarrassing on an epic level. So Jake, what do you think of not our chances, but what do you think of our pursuit of a World Series? Let's just talk about the pennant, because the Yankees have shown we are very inconsistent. We don't hit good pitching. You've got to hit good pitching at some point or another in October. What are your thoughts now after this Detroit debacle?
No, I understand why people feel this way. Truthfully, I understand Detroit, it's been brutal. I still think this is the best chance to go to the World Series out of the AL. I don't think the AL is good. Most of these teams can't even play on the road. Detroit could be a problem. I'm not saying they can't. But I trust when push comes to shove, the Yankees have the most talent. Even Aaron Boone has gotten to the World Series. Did it last year. I think they're going to go back.
And then I said Detroit, because I said Detroit was going to eliminate us. That was my prediction. And this, I remember when we talked about this. It was probably sometime in June. It was a long time ago. And at that time, Detroit was playing their best baseball. Like, the slump had not hit. Now, Scooble's been awesome all year. He just is who he is. You're not going to avoid Scooble. We avoid him this series. It's not even mattering. That's a bummer. It is. And this series against Detroit is not going to get any easier, because I'm here to tell you guys right now, and this is just a little clue in. And you mentioned how these teams play in the AL on the road. We don't play very well. We're not that good of a road team. We're just not. And we're likely, if this continues, and it's likely to continue, it's not likely for us to win the division. It's still less likely than we'll be playing on the road. And those teams that we say, oh yeah, Detroit, they don't play that great of baseball, or Boston, they don't play that great of baseball on the road. Well, what happens if we play them at their place? That's something we have to avoid at all costs, because it seems like where you play is going to dictate what happens, because none of these teams are very good. I don't think Detroit, I didn't watch the game today and say, man, Detroit's loaded. Spencer Torkelson's hitting 237. His ops hasn't even flirted with the 800s. So again, I don't love ops. I don't think it really tells a story, but guys, that's not a scary lineup. It's just not. Toronto's not a scary team. They're just a really good team. So when you go into October, you need to be teeing up all the variables in your favor. And if you don't take care of business, which right now we're not, I'm sorry, you're making your bed for a disaster. And that's what it seems like to me, just from my perspective.
Yeah, we appreciate you, Jersey Girl. And William V here. I don't think I want to watch that series in Fenway, but of course I will. I don't want to see Volpe tomorrow. Just felt better with him not playing. You and my mom and everyone else probably agrees. And Gary Sheffield Jr. does as well. But that goes without saying. Yeah, I'll tell you what I don't want to watch. The game on Apple TV Plus on Friday. What are we doing?
Oh. So I get to learn about probabilities again. I saw probabilities in like junior year of high school. Never saw those again. And then all of a sudden, you just go into Apple TV's baseball broadcast, and they're like, you know what they want to probably see? They haven't seen it in decades. Depending on when you graduated from high school. I graduated in 2012. They're like, show them how likely it is that this player is going to score from second base. It is not interesting.
Or the home
broadcast looks pretty.
1% chance of a home run. Why is that on my screen?
It's just completely irrelevant. By the way, I think the camera work with Apple is beautiful. Yeah. I don't know what they're doing with their cameras, but the Yes Network does not have that crew. They need to revamp the crew and get that crew. Whatever.
The score bug is interesting. I don't hate it. It's better than the Fox football one. What the hell are we doing? Did you see the Fox football score
No,
bug?
I didn't know.
They're just, I'll tell you what it is. It's basically the Super Bowl. They have the giant, it's not as good as the Super Bowl because I like the Super Bowl had like I don't know. I kind of like the abbreviations more than the logos. They have these giant plastered logos in the middle of the screen. Minimalism is everywhere now with graphic design, and I hate it. There's this oversimplification of graphic design that just bothers the shit out of me. And I don't, if you, like, again, I'll have to send you the Fox NFL score bug. It sucks. I do not like it.
Right. So if Apple could just clean up, I think some of that stuff should be interactive, to be honest with you. Like if I have an Apple TV, like if you have Apple TV some way, well, I should be able to move stuff around, like move the probabilities in the corner or make it disappear.
Well, how about just let's just slide it all off.
Right. So if I can do that, then I'm technically getting my way. And then what's going to happen after that? I'm going to say Apple Broadcast was actually a pleasant experience. Isn't that in the end what you're looking for? Advertisement and a pleasant experience? I think that's what we should be going for. And yeah, I do see Momo says Apple TV and Smoltz are straight garbage. Smoltz is with Fox. So
thank God.
Yeah, that's Jake's favorite. I don't know if you knew that. No, he's not.
I just get tired because I liked him as a kid. He was one of my favorite pitchers. No idea why. I just loved him when I was a kid. And yeah, I don't. No love lost with the with the announcing because I just, dude, I understand like you're still upset about 1998, but like get the fuck over it. Like I don't know what else to tell you. It's just it just sounds ridiculous. After a while, you just get sick of it. Because he just comes off as super anti-Yankee bitter. And, Gary, you know, do I really care about that stuff at the end of the day? Not really. But when I'm forced to have to listen to it, especially because I like Joe Davis. As I've said over and over again, I think he's a great announcer, baseball and football. Now I have to listen. If I want to listen to Joe Davis, then I have to listen to... I don't like it.
That's funny that you have that perspective about, like, different people. And mind you, I don't, like, dislike anyone else. Mm-hmm. It's just the coverage of Smoltz and just how biased that is. It's not him. It's just his way of doing it I don't like, so I don't make it personal. But I'll tell you right now, with Michael Kay and what our broadcast crew does, I love that. I think the Mets actually have a great crew. Outside of that, with the Vin Scully stuff, like I used to watch those Dodger games and listen to him talk. I could not care less to hear anybody speak in baseball. Not at all. Like I told you before, I like watching games by myself. I don't even want anyone talking during the game. Nobody. I just want to hear crack of the bat. I would pay a lot of money to listen in silence, have the room be in silence, and the only thing I hear is my daughter in the background squawking and my wife doing what she's doing. But
sounds like you're into baseball ASMR, weirdo.
I'd be curious though how many people feel the way I feel about it, because I know it's the sexy thing to do now is to be anti-broadcast and just hate all of them. And we all have guys that we like and like to listen to. We just think they break it down a different type of way that we enjoy. But I don't enjoy listening to anybody talk.
So it's hard for me because I got into this because I used to just announce all the time. When I was playing video games, I would announce. I would try to sound like Michael Kay, Ken Singleton, Joe Buck, you name it, right? So I was always into that. So then, of course, as I got older, I got more into announcing. Just like I never did it, but like, I mean, we're sports casting, but not the same thing. The play-by-play always fascinated me. And so I listened to these guys. Like I listened to an Al Michaels, and I know he gets a lot of flack, but I like Collinsworth. I do. I like most...
Collinsworth is like one of my favorite ever. By the way, Virtual, I see you in the comments saying I couldn't disagree with this take more. It's not a take. It's a preference. That's like me saying I love vanilla ice cream. Like that take sucks. It's like it's not a take. It's my personal preference.
Hey now. I could say I love mint chocolate chip, and people say, "Oh, it tastes like." Is that you? Are you the one that said? Oh,
no.
Okay, it's not. Okay, good. I always get. Oh yeah, it tastes like toothpaste. No, I'm sorry, you're an idiot.
Yeah, people also complain when you get vanilla. They're like, "Oh, you're boring." I'm like, "Well, vanilla is a flavor. I don't know if you knew that. It's not like It's not like that's original. No, it's just a vanilla. It's a flavor. So yeah.
No, but I genuinely like. I mean, I like Matty V. That's another one. I think there's a lot of good announcers out there. I liked Joe Morgan and was it John Miller?
Yeah, because they had the Sunday night ESPN broadcast. So
that was nice.
Best. By the way, the best broadcast in the history, I don't care what, was you remember when they used to score and it used to be like, and then all of a sudden like the score bug would change? Do you remember that?
Oh, yeah. It had kind of like the neon look.
Yeah, and it would like flicker and it'd be like, and then all of a sudden things would change. It seemed more important. It was cool.
It's interesting. It looks dated now, but you still appreciate it. Do you remember when everything had like the same score bug?
Not really.
They all had that kind of look, like the neon look. Football.
I don't know.
Like a touchdown would have like that ticker. Like the neon ticker would be like touchdown, whatever. Home run ticker, you know? It'd say home run, parentheses, 20, Manny Ramirez, right?
No, the only thing I remember was like when you threw 95 miles an hour, the ball would hit the glove and then there would be a flame. And then now it's like, who the hell doesn't throw?
That 95? Is the funniest thing ever. I remember that.
Yeah, do you remember that?
Dude, I used to get a kick out of that.
95, we're like, damn, he's blowing gas. Now it's like, oh, you see 93, he's a craft guy, he's got to work the corners. You see someone like Marcus Stroman, he'll throw 91, and the broadcast goes on for like 45 minutes. They're like, yeah, as you can see, he doesn't really have the juice, so he's going to have to work the corners. The game has changed, man. The broadcast has changed.
It really has. Nuts. What was there was one I was going to highlight here. I totally forgot. Oh, Buck. Not Joe Buck. Buck Martinez. Did you hear what he said about the Yankees?
Buck Martinez?
Yeah, the announcer for the Blue Jays.
No. What'd he say?
It was so wild because, like, can you imagine Michael Kay? Let's just I'm going to tell you after this, but let me set the scene here. Michael Kay, Paul O'Neill, David Cohn will say. They're just chatting. All of a sudden, Michael Kay just goes on and says, yeah, the Blue Jays are losing right now. I don't really think they're that great of a team. If they don't hit a home run, they don't win. They don't have a good defense. They don't have a good bullpen. They're just not that good.
Oh, so the coverage was essentially they have their opinions, which is not a surprise to us, right?
Yeah.
All of these people that cover these sports, they have their own personal opinion. Like, they may look at the Red Sox and be like, nah, they're just hype. It's garbage. It's not actually anything. Now, mind you, for the most part, these people, they get on their broadcast and they keep it clean and they keep their opinions out of it. Because,
Exactly.
I mean, you just heard Jake just a second ago. When John Smoltz hasn't got on the broadcast and been like, I hate the Yankees, I can't get over 98. He's never said that once. But biased coverage really, it puts a bad taste in people's mouth. It does. So it just seems like, so I would assume he said the Yankees can't score. And by the way,
I wasn't even in a disagreement with him. I just felt it was out of place. Like, so they apparently were talking about how the Yankees are losing at the same time Toronto was winning or whatever.
What day was this? Was this
yesterday.
Today? Oh, it was yesterday. But it's like, we just beat you. So I just feel like the timing doesn't.
That's what I mean. Like,
yeah,
that's
really make
exactly what I was saying. And then, like, people were like, well, he's not wrong. And I'm like, I never said he was wrong. I never said he was wrong. What he's saying is not wrong, but it's just weird is all. It
here
just
also,
felt weird
people
to me.
do, because, I mean, you can see, I see it in the comments. People are like, oh, it's out of context. Well, take a look at this. Guess who else was out of context? Michael K. I see this in the comments. I am throwing it up on the screen because it's wrong and it needs to be corrected. Junior, thank you for being in our comments. We really appreciate you being here first and foremost. Said K kind of did this earlier this year. Blue Jays aren't a first place team. It's not what he said. And the fact that that's a quote, that's just not a quote. He said their plus minus is an indication across baseball that they've won more games than expected. And the Yankees plus minus tells a story they've lost more games than expected. That's actually exactly what he said. And he said the Yankees believe that they should be further up the standings and that Toronto should be further down. He never said that they aren't a first place team. And if he did, then we would just be able to cut it off at a certain point, start it here and end it there. And that's the quote we would get. But you wouldn't find that quote. You know why, Jake? Because it was never said anywhere. I listened to the broadcast.
Yes. And by the way, I have the actual quote from Buck Martinez.
Yeah, go ahead and read it.
Quote,
because keep in mind, I haven't heard it.
Yes. So, quote, the Yankees are not a good team. I don't care what the record is. They have a lot of wild pitches. They make a lot of mistakes in the field. They don't run the bases very well. And if they don't hit home runs, they don't have a chance to win, end quote. Now, I actually kind of changed my mind a little bit on this. I see it's not exactly what I remembered. So I think the whole they don't run the bases very well is idiotic. They're one of the best base running teams, statistically in the league, right? So I'm not and I understand they've had mental errors. So has everybody else. It's stupid. It's not like they have them every single game. A lot of mistakes in the field. Really, that's just Anthony Volpe, right? If they don't hit home runs, they don't have a chance to win. That's ridiculous because they're in almost every game that they play. We watch them every night. These are outlier performances. I just gave you the stat that they are only behind the Dodgers for losses of 5 runs or more. So that's just not even true. If they don't hit home runs, they don't have a chance to win. You might say, typically speaking, if they don't hit home runs, they likely won't win the game or whatever, but they don't have a chance to win. And I don't care what the record is. It's like right after, the Yankees are not a good team. I don't care what the record is. And they have a lot of wild pitches. That is the dumbest shit I've ever heard. That's not, you can't describe a team and say they have a lot of wild pitches. Okay, you care to back that up, Buck? What?
I also just think, shouldn't the standings just speak for themselves? Why in the world, I just don't understand why color commentators are saying, hey, here's my perspective on what that team really is. Why are you even telling us this? For what? The standings will tell the story. And then when we go into Fenway, whatever you think of Boston or whatever you think, you go into Toronto or they come here, right? We just saw that. It'll speak for itself. Gives a crap. If you're going to talk about the team's base running, or you're going to talk about their boomer bust mentality, we agree with the boomer bust mentality. If you listen to this podcast, which there are people who listen to our show for the first time tonight, they've never listened to it before, and they'd say, oh, this group, they probably just think the Yankees are just awesome and it was just a bad series. No, if you were here for that Toronto series, we mentioned in such a positive way how Toronto goes about their business. Now, if they didn't have that approach, it's like we would just let the chips fall where they may. If they beat us, you just have to tip your cap. You don't get a platform to start talking about what they are. What they are is better than you because they beat you. That's what sports is about, is we settle it on the field. So yeah, I didn't understand. I don't get it. I don't really think there's any value to offering your perspective of what you think of the Yankees base running, unless you're like some podcaster for that direct team. What's the point of steering outside your lanes to figure out and dissect what they are? What they are is better.
Yeah.
And Toronto right now is ahead of you in the standings. So they deserve more respect than the Yankees do as far as I'm concerned right now. So I do want to tee up tomorrow's game before we get, because we're going to get to our voicemail section. And I know Cam Schlittler, I mean, this is a young arm. Jake, I already know what you think of him. You know what I think of him. He has the temperament to deal with this game. He does. Now, where we could run into an issue is this game is not for the faint of heart. It's not. This is a stop the bleeding start. And by the way, he's coming into this outing where a solid outing may not be enough. This Yankees offense isn't necessarily pulling their rope. It may have to be a perfect performance. It may have to be 6-7 innings of dominance against a good Detroit team. Good, not great. You're going to have to dominate. That's a lot to ask of a young arm. Now, Jake, will he do it? I know you mentioned the opposing pitcher, and we brought up those numbers today with Flaherty, and those numbers didn't mean a lick because you brought up we were looking at the numbers in the World Series, right? Stanton was hitting Flaherty. Flaherty's been getting shelled in the previous weeks. Didn't matter a lick today. What's your feeling going into Game 3? Do you think this is going to be a repeat of that finale with the Dustin May and Boston series, or what do you see?
That's exactly what I see, Gary. I see another, probably a 7-2 win. Get on the horse and, get ready for Boston. That's how they started the last run. I think that's how they're going to start this one. The question is, are they going to go on a run? And the beautiful thing about playing Boston is that if you win 2 out of 3, that's a run. To me, that's as good as winning 3 straight in any other series. You've already proven you can't beat this team and win a series against them. If you come out and you win that series, that's different. So I understand expectations seem low, and they should be right now after 2 blowouts, but I think they win tomorrow in comfortable fashion. I think, Cam Schlittler, not really fazed by much. He got a little humbled, and that's a good thing. And I think we'll be better because of it. I think we see it in this game. So, yeah, I got 7-2. As far as that goes, I think tomorrow with Holton on the mound, tomorrow's going to be interesting because Holton's a lefty. So they end up going with a lefty. It's just not Scooble. So Holton is a lefty.
Volpe will play. Because
Volpe will play.
They'll say that he hits lefties, which is not really that true.
No.
But he will play. Yep.
I'm going to make a prediction here. I think Slater starts.
Well, yeah, McMahon shouldn't play.
Yeah, McMahon will not play because Rosario is going to play.
Yep.
So I think Rosario and Slater both rake tomorrow. That's my prediction.
Yep. Oh, well, I have no prediction of any raking going on. I don't have a ton of hope for Game 3. I'm not making any prediction for these guys. They haven't done anything for me to predict that they're going to win Game 3. So with all due respect to the
guys
Yankees,
that barely hit.
Oh yeah, I see. That weren't a part of the struggle.
Guys no. Although Slater had a hit, but yeah.
Yeah, it's going to take more than just getting a hit. The Yankees have to put it together as a team. They haven't done that. So I know that when they go out there, you're like, oh, well, this is a huge, huge series. And they come out the first 2 games and just wet the sheets, get outscored by 20 plus runs, and then they want to feel sorry for themselves that people predict them to lose game 3. What do you want people to think? What? What have you shown this series? Nothing. So the Yankees, rather than us predicting and them to do something, just go do it, and then we'll cover it. And then, Jake, yeah, let's get to our voicemails. We won't do multiple voicemails per person because then it obviously the voicemail section gets a little bit long. But Jake, yeah, let's go ahead and do that.
Yeah, so hopefully everybody heard that. I mean, it's tough because, you got 2 from Guy. I guess we'll do his first one. Yeah, let's do his first one here.
Hello, everyone. It's 1:34 in the afternoon, and just giving a pre-report. Jack Flaherty in his last game only lasted 4 1/3 innings, and in his last 6 games has a whopping ERA of 6.68.
Oh, God.
The Tigers' bullpen has also had 123 appearances in high-leverage situations. The relievers have only notched 66 holds for the year, 24th in the MLB. So it appears the Yankees should score a lot of runs tonight. But Flaherty's inflated ERA of 6.68 is a little misleading. During the 6-game stretch, he gave up 8 runs to Kansas City. He also has pitched well against the Yankees, and the Yankees are now batting just .201 and a .683 OPS in its last 10 games. I see more of the same tonight until they break out of this team slump. I don't believe Rodon will have it as easy in his last few starts, but Detroit boasts a .792 OPS against lefties this year, but Rodon in 2025 has better numbers against right-handed batters than versus the lefty hitters. Not sure he gets 6 tonight, but I do think he gets at least 5. I'm going to stick with Ben Rice tonight, and I look for Grisham to break out of his slump. Yankees win in a low-scoring game. I keep trying to give the Yankees offense 5 runs, and they keep failing on me. Will tonight be the breakout night? I hope so. But I'm going to go with the Yankees winning 4-3. All right.
Fingers crossed. We really appreciate the voicemail. And by the way, guys, this is what it looks like if you could just be a fly on the wall for people who gamble. Like Jake, I mean, you've got friends who gamble, and they're like, no, I swear to you, this is how the game's going to go. Sports is crazy, man. You would expect the Yankees to have gotten up for this series. Nobody would have came in here and be like, oh, yeah, the Yankees are getting blown out the first 2 games. Their bullpen is just going to melt down. Horrible, right? So we really appreciate you taking the risk to obviously make these. Now, I'll tell you right now, Grisham didn't have a terrible day, 1 for 3, reached base twice. So that part wasn't bad. Now, where the problem resides is he mentioned that Rodon, because of what Detroit does, and that's because of Torkelson, obviously what you get from Gleyber Torres, they do hit lefties. That's a fact. But Carlos Rodon, the one development that he's brought into his game is the addition to that changeup. It is massive. Massive. And when you're talking about pitching to left-handers, he has wrinkles. He has pitches working both directions. You heard the Yes broadcast today talking about Flaherty, and this was supposed to be an advantage for the Yankees, which is that he's either throwing a fastball or pitches are breaking towards a lefty. And that's all he has. He doesn't have anything that breaks the opposite direction. Rodon doesn't have that problem. And so in theory, we thought, oh, Rodon should have success and Flaherty shouldn't. But in actuality, both pitchers had their way. The zone was huge, ginormous. And Jake, you didn't like that zone at all.
No.
So having said all of this, I love the way Carlos Rodon looked. Again, not going to get nitpicky. Giving up a 2-run single and then that being it shouldn't kill you. In a game like this, your offense needs to pull its weight. They didn't. And he had to be perfect. He essentially had to come out here and throw a no-hitter. Otherwise, the bullpen would have come out in a 1-0 game and blown the game. It's unfortunate. And I can't blame him for coming out here and thinking this offense would bust out onto the scene at some point because you saw the Yankees hit Flaherty in the World Series. So very disappointing game. Honestly, couldn't even possibly tell you guys why to project confidence in Game 3. I'm very worried about this team in their pursuit of the division. Very.
No, that's fair. Really appreciate you, Guy. Yeah, I thought really did a nice job nailing it with Flaherty. It almost, it's like you already saw the game and you could almost feel like, oh man, he's going to be right about this, but the game was already played. So, really appreciate that. And yeah, all the 201, I had to stop because if I went any further, I would have snapped my neck. Just like 201 really last 10 games. They've been finding different ways to win. That's for sure. But we appreciate you, Guy. All right, on to Kyle Malay.
Hey guys, Kyle Malay here. Gary, you're right. I'm gonna head to the psych ward right now, okay?
No, the psych ward.
It's pissing me off. 3-0, and going into the 8th inning.
He's checking in.
Where's the freaking urgency? Like, this is like I've had like 3 drinks already, so I don't even know what I'm saying half the time right now. But fuck this team. Like, this team cannot win against freaking Jack Flaherty, a guy who had over 6 ERA in his last 5 games. Like, what are we doing here? Hopefully they can come up and do something soon, because this team is really bad. All right. Hopefully, whenever I call later, they're doing better, but oh well. Go Yankees.
Poor Kyle.
Oh, man.
Poor us.
That was funny. We're getting closer to the shred line. Like, we're getting there. He was about to crash out.
Yeah, it's a despicable showing, and what else can you say as a fan of this team other than the fact that they just got embarrassed by a Detroit team, which, by the way, I said Detroit was gonna. Well, I said they were gonna win the division. That was the obvious, but the thing I said was this team was gonna eliminate us in the playoffs. This was back in June, so I would have no context of what's gonna happen in the following months. But then Detroit just showed up at Yankee Stadium. They've beat the brakes off of us with no Tarek Skubal. Could you imagine what we would look like tomorrow if Tarek Skubal was pitching? We'd make it seem like witchcraft was happening on the mound. We genuinely, could you imagine what those at bats would look like? I would say we'd be on no hit watch.
Bro. Anyway, let's move on.
Sorry, Kyle.
Oh, no hit watch. All right.
Wow. I'm leaving the game right now, and the Yankees always find a way to outdo themselves. You guys predicted the Yankees would win today, but I guess the Yankees thought this game was a repeat of yesterday, so I'm going to forgive you guys for that one because we suck. Yankee fangirl here actually predicted how the outcome of the game would go to great accuracy. How did you say it would go?
I said that Rodon was going to have a decent game, that he was going to get no run support, and that by the end of the game, the bullpen will have tacked on more runs, and instead of being 2-0, I thought it was going to be at least 12-0, but I was close.
And that is absolutely what happened because the Yankees suck, and honestly, I can't even be mad anymore. I can't even be mad anymore because I'm not surprised. The team does the same crap over and over and over again. It's like Groundhog Day again.
Why would they bring Leiter in again after yesterday?
Austin Slater turned out to be a better pitcher than Mark Leiter Jr. So I think we should actually sign Austin Slater to a great grand contract because apparently he is throwing some 38 mile per hour nukes, I guess. I don't know. Anyways, I'm about to get into the elevator. I might continue. Fire Baboon.
Gotta love these Yankee Stadium.
I like it.
Yankee Stadium voicemails. And by the way, guys, this is part of our diamond level. You can leave a voicemail from our members. So we really appreciate that. We're at 9
of them, by the way.
Yeah. What a... can you imagine that? I know you've been very lucky, Jake, with your birthday celebrations at Yankee Stadium. Things have really worked out. I think you said 2 of 3 have just been awesome. That right there, could you imagine going to Yankee Stadium for your birthday and these boys just come out here and just fart all over the place at Yankee Stadium? What a joke.
Just straight diarrhea down the leg.
This was not even... I mean, once you saw Leiter Jr. come out, I was like, I did turn it off. So I apologize for not having seen the entire game. I turned it off for Leiter Jr.'s inning, and then I turned it back on the following inning just to see what was going on.
I watched every single pitch. I wish I didn't.
I'm sorry.
It is what it is. All right, we move on. Hopefully Ninja Hot Dog doesn't flip out because this came from Gary, by the way. He wanted to cut down the show a little bit, which I get, because we can't just be sitting here. If somebody had four voicemails, we'd be sitting here
guys,
forever.
I'll explain it because since it was my thing, I did listen to some feedback, and people don't want having this 4 voicemails from one person. So we're going to keep it to 1 voicemail per, just to speed up, obviously, of what's going on so there's more flow. But anyways, we really appreciate it. Jake, let it fly.
Yes, sir.
Hey, guys. Just wanted to give a
This is
quick
Mark, by the
message.
way.
I didn't really watch much of the game. Caught, towards the end and the beginning. My dad was in the hospital getting surgery. Everything went well, luckily.
Oh, good.
Just one thing
That's
I want to
good,
say.
yeah.
Austin Slater is our best relief pitcher, clearly, by a mile. And, yeah, prayers for Charlie Kirk and his whole family. Very devastating. But hopefully everyone's doing okay, and we're going to move in a better direction, and hopefully the Yankees will be moving in a better direction as well, because so far, we're still 4-4. So, I would have taken over the 12 games a 6-6 split. So that's still possible, even better than that it's possible. So just keep the positive vibes going. I know it's another embarrassing loss, but yeah, that's it. Austin Slater for relief pitcher MVP. See ya.
Well, glad the surgery went well. That's first and foremost. That's great news.
Absolutely.
I like that we're at least this game doesn't. It should count for 5 losses. I think when you lose by more than 10, they should just wipe you down to the bottom of the standings. But that's neither here nor there. This is baseball. This is sports. You can get the brakes beat off you for in the NFL, 2 weeks in a row. It's still just 2 losses. And in baseball, we've embarrassed ourselves this series. But overall, this gauntlet is going better than a lot of people thought it would for the Yankees. So I'm going to try to take this advice. I'm going to try to look at it big picture. Again, I don't have a ton of hopes for tomorrow, but I'm trying to look at it from a standings perspective. We're not dead yet. So let's make them bury us.
Yeah, that's for sure. And I mean, hey, if it was, what do they do in soccer? If you're bad enough, they demote you out of your league, and then someone replaces you.
Oh, they do that in soccer?
Yeah. So
They
the
should be doing
Colorado
it to the
Rockies
Rockies.
would be
Yep.
gone.
There you go.
Who's the best? I'm gonna look it up right now, real quick, just so I can have it. Who's the best minor league baseball team? I'm very curious. Who's the best AAA baseball team? The Iowa Cubs and the Norfolk Tides are considered the best due to their stacked prospect rosters. Nashville Sounds are up there. Okay, yeah, let's just say the Colorado Rockies getting replaced by the Norfolk Tides. Norfolk Tides are now in the MLB.
I bet you they'd start spending money then. I
Yeah.
bet you Pittsburgh would get on their high horse then. If you told them, hey guys, if you're butt cheeks,
Lucas is saying I
more
want
than 3
2
years.
Cubs in the league.
right?
Oh my god. Anyway, yeah, I don't follow at all. I don't follow soccer in the slightest, but I always thought that was hilarious. My friends have always told, because a lot of my friends are into soccer, and yes,
Yeah.
it is real. You get kicked the hell out of your league if you're not good enough.
In Premier League, I mean, yeah. So I love that. If you just suck for long enough, get rid of your ass. You're not. You should
It's
be
great.
trying to win, and a lot of these teams, they're just not trying to win. They're not. So
What does the NFL do?
All
They
for it.
throw you on Hard Knocks.
yeah, which I heard I've never seen Hard Knocks, but I heard it wasn't very good this year. I think the Bills were on it.
Which is weird. Normally it's the bad team. It's a punishment normally, but anyway.
Yeah, I guess the problem with it this year is there wasn't any T. It was
No, it's the Bills.
they were keeping them at arm's length.
It's
it
Buffalo.
should be. Yeah, it needs to be like the perfect team this year. Easily, in my opinion, would have been the Browns. If you gave us Hard Knocks for the Browns, and I'll tell you right now, if the Browns are on TV, I'll go watch a movie. I'll go do anything else. But Hard Knocks, no, I want to see
Shedeur
what's
Sanders?
going on. I want to see that.
Yeah, the whole thing with Myles Garrett. Remember? He's like, oh yeah, I'm going to not sign with you. I'm actually going to beg for a trade. And everyone thought he was getting traded. Eagles thought they were getting him. And then all of a sudden he signs a contract. So yeah.
Yes, I am, Mark.
Yeah, I agree. All right, last one here.
Cool.
This is our new member, B-Rye. So shout out to B-Rye. Became a diamond level member. Obviously had been a member, but found out how to upgrade finally. I know B-Rye was trying to do this the last few episodes.
It's not easy. It's definitely it's a little hidden away.
They love making everything difficult on YouTube. I don't know why. All right, so here we go.
Evening, fellas. How you doing? B-Rye here. Appreciate what you guys do. First thing I want to talk about is Boone's bullpen management. It's just absolutely atrocious. It's just ridiculous. So we decided, hey, you know what? Let me bring in Leiter yesterday in a high leverage situation. Not only that, let's double down on that and bring him in again in the high leverage situation. Hey, and I got a great idea. Let's bring in Luke Weaver when we're down 8-1 when the game's already out of reach. How do you not have Weaver coming in a high spot? I'm just saying, like, just ridiculous. Also, real quick, the offense as a whole has been pretty bad as of late over the last 7. Every starter outside of Belly, McMahon, and Wells are all hitting under 200 over the last 7. Pretty bad. And on the positives for tonight, I don't really have a whole lot. I thought Rodon pitched a good game, much like I thought Warren pitched a good game the day before.
Yep.
Judge was pretty brutal tonight, which is not a positive. Double play is a killer. And Stanton quietly actually has been pretty bad since the Boston series. Anyway, don't want to keep up too much time here. Take away too much time anyway. You fellas have a good night. J down for life. Extend Cashman. And Boone for president.
Oh. Okay, so I want to start off, I want to get to this whole Weaver thing. Because Weaver came in when the game was 300-0. Now, here's how you know it was a bad decision. If you look in the post game, because I'm not just going to rely on my opinion, I'll get to that. Aaron Boone said, this is a quote, I never want to bring Weave, he's got a nickname, into a situation like that. But obviously, you just get short and you kind of have to. And now, I do see in the comments, because I try to do both here.
How do you get short? You had an off day on Monday.
That's part of it, and certainly a point, a very good one at that. But I do see Welkin in our comment section saying that he's not good. Now, mind you, I'm not going to try to convince anyone that Luke Weaver's a really good pitcher right now, because that's really the gist of it. Are you good right now? Because we need to use you right now. This isn't about last year and what you did and all the brilliance. This is about what you look like today. Having said that, can we all agree that Weaver would be a better option still, the way he's pitching, than Mark Leiter Jr.? So the question is, why wouldn't the roles be reversed? Why wouldn't Leiter Jr. pitch when the game is now out of hand? Somebody explain it to me. I need it explained to me, because evidently I'm a moron. So I need somebody to conceptualize what the thought process was, other than getting on their post game as Aaron Boone and saying, well, I didn't want to use him. Well, why didn't you want to use him? Because it sounds like you're saying he's really good and you would rather not use him in garbage time. So why wouldn't you use the guy with an ERA north of 5?
Gary,
Jake, do you have an explanation for me?
Gary, that's about as smart as in a video game using a health potion when your health is at 100%. Why would you do that? Why would you do that? Like, it just doesn't make any sense. It's stupid.
We're not saying this because we care about Weaver. That's not it. I hope this is welcome. This could not be this. Honestly, I know for a fact I could not be any more clear on this screen. Couldn't be. We've got the best microphones money can buy. I'm looking at Weaver, who is objectively a better pitcher than Mark Leiter Jr. That's why the roles should be reversed. One pitcher pitched in high leverage, the other pitched in low. And you pitched the good in low leverage and the one of the worst pitchers on our whole roster in high. I'm not telling you Weaver would have came into this game and had success. No, he could have had the same results. However, why wouldn't you make the attempt to pitch someone who's better? I don't understand it. There's no explanation, and it's genuinely amazing if we could peel it back how many just egregious decisions were made over 162 with Aaron Boone. He wasn't the difference in today. Like, if Aaron Boone wasn't the manager, we probably don't win the game anyway. Certainly not, especially the way we're hitting. But how many games do we just give away just doing stupid stuff like this? I know the analytics don't say this is a good decision. No way.
I mean, Luke Weaver has had moments where you're like, wow, he's one of the best relief pitchers in baseball, right? I mean, April, 0 ERA, May, 2.31 ERA, then it's a 4.91 ERA, a really small sample size in June, albeit, dealt with injury, then a 7.15 ERA, right, in July. Then he has a 1.23 ERA in August, and now in September, a 7.71 ERA, the worst of his season. So I just don't really understand what the deal is. Like, it feels like we were talking about last year. I don't know how he has success. I don't think he has great stuff, right? He misses bats, but, like, I don't know. I mean, what are your thoughts on Luke Weaver? Because I like him, I do. But when he struggles, it almost makes sense to me because it's like he's been around long enough where I feel like these hitters should know how to attack him. And I just don't feel like he has anything that's crazy. Like, I'm not saying he's a bad pitcher.
Green. Like,
well,
Chad
he's very
Green,
similar to Chad Green.
Chad Green is a good arm. Like, I wouldn't, now mind you, this is years ago now where he was at his best with the Yankees.
Yeah.
But having said that, Chad Green as a Yankee, let's remember his point of attack. Yeah, I've got the slider. I'm pumping fastballs, man. And you're sitting there wondering, how is this working? But it does. And the way it does is the same way Nestor Cortez. Nestor Cortez wasn't really locating all over the place. Nestor Cortez actually was throwing 93, 94. But what the analytics said was that he was high spin rate. So that fastball is appearing much faster than what it actually is. Guys are swinging underneath it, and you saw that all day. Well, as the years go on, either the stuff regresses, which from a literal perspective, it did on Nestor, but then also people start catching up on your game plan. Luke Weaver is really going to go four-seam fastball, and he's relatively, when he's going right, well located, and then here's a changeup. And that's what I got.
Yeah,
and people are figuring that out.
Changeup call. I did not like that.
Did you like the changeup that he threw to Big Christmas?
I can't stand Big Christmas.
That ball was destroyed.
That might be the only thing he's ever done in his career. You don't get a nickname. You don't get a nickname when you hit 112. I'm sorry. You just don't.
I completely agree with you.
It's like,
I thought the Big Christmas thing was insane.
Big Christmas. It's like, you think this dude is freaking Frank Thomas. Like, the way
I know.
You
shouldn't get. It's the same thing with the guy. What do people say? They call him like the J-Rod and the Martian, and or how about this one, Miggy? They called Miguel Andujar Miggy. I'm like, are you guys smoking something? Well, Miggy is Miguel Cabrera, the guy who's going into the Baseball Hall of Fame.
Rymack when he's, it's like
Rymack. We were just debating yesterday whether or not we have the worst 8-9 hitters of all time in the lineup. And you're going to have a nickname? Man, get out of here.
Dude, it's so bad. Luke Weaver, that changeup was no bueno. He left it kind of hanging, in the middle of the plate, and not ideal. And that's really what he is. He's, like you said, he's going to throw that fastball, he's going to throw the cut fastball, and then he's going to throw the changeup, and that's just the reality of it. And that his thing, Gary, the thing that makes Luke Weaver really good is location. He hasn't had that in a while. Like, he's struggled with location. So
that's true.
I think he's just one of those players. It's no different than Cruz. If he's on, he's going to be electric. But if he's not on, he's going to get nuked. And that's what
That kind
happened.
of reminds me of what Boone said pregame. Did you see what he said about Volpe? And we won't haggle with this. I'm just going to use him as a point. He goes, when he's Volpe. He's got a nickname. When Volpe's got it going and he's playing good baseball, he's a really good player. I'm like, well, who the hell is not a good player when they're playing good?
A nickname isn't just getting rid of a fucking letter at the end of the name.
It's not a nickname. However, why would you tell us that when a player plays good baseball that they're good? Everyone is. Everyone. Literally. Every single one of us. And you'd imagine most people who listen to this podcast played baseball at some type of level. Little League, Pony League, Babe Ruth League.
Get out of here with that shit. You can't be serious.
We all did something where we said, oh, look, Mom, I hit a home run. We all did that. And in the day where we hit a home run, we were good that day. So what? That doesn't mean we were good at any baseball. So Izzy with the super, we just got all supers right here at the last second. Izzy with the 5, really appreciate it. Says, I've been watching Cam's sequencing and mix. It seems as though the league is adjusting. I'm interested to see the counters he makes this start. Thoughts? Yes. So I have a counter here. I don't think the league is catching up on his sequencing at all. I don't. I think, and I genuinely believe this, Toronto simply got the best of him because their approach is superior to the majority of Major League Baseball. Do they lose games because they're not the most talented roster we've ever seen? Yes. Their approach should be hung in a museum. Foul off pitch after pitch after pitch. We're not trying to drive every baseball. We want to get to first base and we want to run the bases like a bat out of hell. That approach right there is very difficult to pitch to. When Cam Schlittler came into the league, he loved throwing that little get me over cutter. You can call it a slider. He was using the slider and he would hang it early. And I told you, Jake, right off rip, I do not like that pitch. Not telling you to get rid of it. I'm telling you to put it in your back pocket. Maybe you work on it. You need to work on that cutter. And I also mentioned I love the curveball. What did he do? He went to the curveball, and now he uses the cutter as his slider. Love that decision. Toronto was just fouling pitch after pitch after pitch off. That's a recipe for success against, I don't care if you're facing Johan Santana in his prime or Cam Schlittler now, you're going to have success. So I'm not worried about the pitch mix. I think if Cam is in the zone, he was in the zone against Toronto. Don't mess around. No nibbling. You need to be in the zone at 0-2, 1-2. Take care of those at-bats early. If he can do that, I don't have any worries about his pitch sequencing. I think he'll be fine.
No, I definitely am not worried about Cam Schlittler. The one thing I would say, I don't think the league is catching up with him. I would say that the Blue Jays, seeing him once, they knew what to look for. And they're already, as you said, kind of a tough out there, right?
Yeah.
So that's kind of what I think. I mean, I could be wrong, but that's kind of the vibe that I got. Appreciate you, Izzy. And then Mark, Nestor's best nasty gameplay and mind games were never the same with the shortened pitch clock, no more ability to be funky with it.
I never thought about that.
Is that really? I thought you have to pitch it in the pitch clock. You can't.
Yes.
Well.
No, because technically speaking, Nestor Cortez.
I thought you just had to like break your like get into your motion. You actually have to have the ball thrown.
No, the ball doesn't have to be out of your hand. But what Mark is getting at is that Nestor Cortez, if you watch him from the first pitch of the game to his last, he'll stand on the mound and disrupt the tempo of the game. He'll stand there and pitch slow. Like, you remember Baez, the reliever for the Dodgers. He just stand out there, and they're like, Jesus, when's this guy going to throw a damn pitch? But he did that every single time. So when he came out onto the mound, you have an expectation of what's going to happen. But then he'll get out on the mound and be ready, and you're like, wait a minute, I'm barely ready, and the ball's on its way. So you don't really have any routine as a hitter. If there's one thing we know about hitting, this whole game is timing. And it's difficult to get timing when a guy can stand out there for 30 seconds, then hang his foot in the air and do this, and then throw the ball. Now, he could still do that, but it was a little bit, to Mark's point, it wasn't as funky. They put bumpers on him, and not to say that was the only reason he was successful. It's certainly the velocity was down quite a bit. The location, which you mentioned earlier about Weaver, was down. Those cutters that he was used to work in off the plate, those were down the middle. That were leaving the ballpark to the point where Boone was like, do all of these mistakes have to go into the seats? Yeah. When you're Nestor Cortez, they do. So, yeah, Mark, unfortunately, Nasty Nestor just became Nestor Cortez towards the end.
It really be like that sometimes, but that's a good indication there, Mark. Izzy, thanks for having me. Of course. Like, anytime. We appreciate you. You're always in here. We really do appreciate you. And another one with Mark, it's the injuries. Luke, not the same since IR stint. But he did just have a good month. So, like, I just think he's an inconsistent pitcher. And I think it's because of who he is. Like you said, it's a 95-mile-an-hour fastball that's deceiving batters and looking like 98, 99 because of the spin rate, right? It's also predicated on location. There are a lot of different pitchers in this league that don't have to have pinpoint location. When you're focusing entirely on the fastball, the changeup, and the cutter mix, and the cutter you very rarely use, you got to be very, accurate with your location. If you don't have your location, especially against a team like the Tigers, they're just going to put it in play, and they're going to blow you up, and that's what happened.
You mentioned Weaver, too. This was probably 2 weeks ago. You're like, oh, Weaver's actually starting to hit the ground here. It wasn't anything long term. No, mind you, you weren't making any prediction. You were just saying, hey, he's pitched 5 or 6 times in a row here, and he's been serviceable and high leverage. This matters. Good. Well, that has to continue. You're not Luke Weaver. It's not you doing the job. You're just covering it. It's what we do. And I do see Troy, who says, holy shit, you guys are on this late? You bet you're behind we are. We don't miss a day.
Yes, sir.
I had bowling night, so wasn't able to be there until late. But yeah, we are the hardest working Yankees podcast in the world. We genuinely believe that. We do not miss.
Oh, there's nobody even close.
Nope, and we're not slowing down.
That's not meant to be disrespect either. Who's available late at night? You know how many times we get comments saying, "Oh, I was waiting for this podcast, but you guys were up," and then all of a sudden, right, Gary, and you love this, the person that watched us that one night, because we happen to be the only Yankee podcast that wanted to podcast after a terrible 12-2 loss.
How about the Dodgers elimination in the World Series?
Oh, well, there you go.
We went live, and that was our biggest show. That was a huge point of growth for us. We don't miss. We don't care.
Crazy.
The Yankees can come out there, and mind you, 4 or 5 years from now, we're going to laugh at getting 30,000 views on a show. We won't care because that will be standard. But having said that, we just have a definitive way that we're going to go about our show. And it's not going to change based on the results. We do not care. We don't care how big the show gets. The show is going to operate exactly the way it operates now. So we really appreciate our audience. Jake, we would just be two loonies just talking to each other if the show didn't exist. So we really appreciate, of course. Yeah, we'd just be talking to ourselves saying we could be big streamers, and we'd just be talking to ourselves and probably what's up? Oh, on Kick?
No. My favorite though is when you wake up, you look at the dashboard and you see people that comment like, "Oh, I just checked you guys out because you're the only ones that were live, and this is the best Yankees podcast ever." It's like, we're just, we're collecting more onto the train. So
that's my favorite comment by far. When you wake up in the morning and you see someone who's like, just found the podcast, I'm like, geez, I wish YouTube would do a better job of at least showing. Not everybody's going to like your flavor of how you do things. Some people just want to get their Yankees coverage in 20 minutes and go screw off. Go watch something else. Okay. That's not how we do it. Some people are like, do you remember people be like, why are you guys going 2 hours? I don't know.
Why aren't you going 2 hours?
Same. Joe Rogan goes 3 hours. Hey, you're going to stop his show? And they're like, no, well, the show does really well. Well, exactly. Same premise here.
I got news for you. Joe Rogan doesn't just go 3 hours. He batch records 3 3-hour podcasts back to back to back. He's insane. I don't know anybody that works as hard as him.
People say, oh, I would do it if I was making that much money. No, you wouldn't. Because there are a lot of podcasts that make a lot more money than we do, and they don't go live every night. So just because the money's there doesn't mean people are just going to start working hard. No, work hard at the beginning. And that way when the money starts coming in, you're the type of dude, and Jake, I know you are as well. I mean, I watch you do your Rams coverage. You need to be the type of person who is going to go live every day, and so we are. So yeah, we're never going to miss. We don't care how late it is, and Jake doesn't sleep anyway, so don't give him too much credit. He'd be up watching God knows what.
I'd probably be up watching. Well, right now, I'd be getting prepared for that Titans-Rams game. Probably watching Titans all 22.
He's watching film.
I
I respect it.
You know
I respect it.
Yeah. But hey, don't sell yourself short. You'll be watching film soon.
Very soon.
Yeah. So, all right. Well, hey, that's going to do it. Thanks for hanging out with us. We appreciate it. You know, I'm really looking forward to when we have our I'll say that right now. I'm really looking forward to when we have our hangout at the Audi Club. And hopefully we have something in Tampa. Because I thought the spring training was really cool. It was cool to see Cam Schlittler. It was cool to see Cody Bellinger before, anybody else. And
Peraza.
Paul
Don't forget
Goldschmidt.
Peraza. He was a staple for you.
Oh, dude. The glove was crazy at third. I texted you immediately. Right after I texted you a picture of that guy with a Ryan Pepio shirt, and I was like, I don't know, we're in the twilight zone now. Also, I saw the worst defensive left fielder in the history of ever. Jason Dominguez was that is the worst defense I've ever seen in my life.
Extraterrestrial that you saw?
I never seen anything worse, and luckily, he's been. All right, I'm gonna take that person just completely out of our chat.
Yep, I was about to do the exact same thing, so I appreciate
it. Trash can meet person. There you go. So yeah, I just I was actually glad that Jason Dominguez has gotten to the point where he's not as bad as he looked in Tampa, Gary, because I was a little concerned. But the point being is, I hope we could do a thing in Tampa. That is a fun place to see a baseball game. And obviously the Audi Club would go so hard. We want to meet you guys. We appreciate you guys. And that's all I got. Oh, comment section. What do we want to put in the comment section?
I have no idea. Got nothing.
We could do Kobe. Let's do. Screw it. Let's do Groundhog Day again. Because it literally was Groundhog Day. Back to back.
Yeah, as Virtual mentions, make sure to like the video. I know it's usually my sign off. I'll get back to it. But Virtual, appreciate you getting ahead of it. Please make sure, guys, if you're not subscribed to Yankees Unloaded yet, make sure you do that. If you're with us, probably should have said this earlier. Make sure you guys leave us a 5-star review. Not sure why they need reviews. They should probably just go off views and traction and view time, but it's neither here nor there. Make sure to subscribe. Hit the bell to be notified every time we go live. Just forewarning, we go live after every day. 2 hours we spend doing this show, so we really appreciate our audience already currently, but make sure that you guys like this video.